Welcome back, everybody, to Conference 1 Valorant. We got a spicy matchup today as we head into the second day of our Tuesday-Thursday groups 3 and 4. My name is Possible. Alongside me is Josh. Today, we got some good matches. Well, one good match, I should say. Some good maps, hopefully, to be paired with it, Josh.
Yeah, I hope so. A lot of the play this week so far has been pretty good. There's been a lot of aggression. One of the things that I want to see today is a little bit more aggression from the offensive teams, because we've seen a lot of aggression from defenses so far this week. And so we got two really closely matched teams. They've both got two high tier players going for them in Penn State and in Limestone. So it's going to be a good matchup between these two squads tonight.
It's a very important match for both our teams here, as both Penn State and Limestone on the first day did unfortunately fall. They were defeated. They are currently sitting at 0-1. So considering that they're only going to get to play 3 matches, they need to place in the top 2 of this group out of 4 to move on to that bracket play in about a week and a half's time. They need to win here and now, or pray for a miracle weird 3-way tiebreaker situation if they want to actually end up making that bracket. So today is ever so important for these two.
Well, if my marriage is a testament to anything, miracles can happen. Somebody can fall in love with you. Okay. You can win matches. No, I don't know where you thought I was going with that. Don't worry.
We're going the right way. I like that strain of jokes.
We're keeping it PG. But this is where you see some of the best matchups across esports, is when you see two teams there in must-win situations where you have to win, you have to go ahead, and you see some of the best plays come out of some of these players. Sometimes people fall apart and they're not there for the moment, but a lot of the times you see players step up, the moment's not too big for them, and they really show out, and that's what some of these players need to do for both of these teams tonight. I think we have two really well-balanced teams. They match up together really well, and I think we're going to see some of those moments where one of these teams is going to have to step up and make sure that they push forward a little bit more so they can stay alive in this tournament.
Sure, and we didn't get to see either of these teams in their losses on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, but we can do a little bit of theory crafting here, Josh, while we have some time and we're getting the players all in the lobby, getting everything set up. We are going to be heading to Split first, right? And for everyone out there watching at home, the pick and ban way it works, if this is your first time tuning into Conference 1, you flip a coin at the beginning. We don't have seeding in these groups. And the winner gets to ban a map. From there, the next team gets to pick a map, and then that first map pick, the winner of the coin flip gets to choose their side, and then for map 2, everything swaps up, right? So Limestone won the coin flip, and as such, they banned Haven. They didn't have a very good time on Haven earlier this week, so that makes perfect sense. But then Penn State, the Nittany Lions, with the bold pick, immediately sending us to Split and giving Limestone the chance to choose that defender side, which they did. This is bold, Josh. This is ever so bold.
It is. It's crazy to me. I thought for sure that they would immediately go to Bind. Really, honestly, I thought Penn State was going to go there first. I think it bodes well for them. They've had some success so far with it, and they've had success in the past with Bind. So Split's a weird pick for me, especially because it can be so... I think sometimes people are aggressive enough on it and they sit back and they're a little bit too hesitant. They play a little bit too passively. And so Split, if you're aggressive enough, can be a really good map to push on as an attacker. But it's definitely a defender's map, and so it's weird for them to pick that as their first map when I really thought that Bind was going to be the one that they would want tonight.
Well, especially considering, what this looks like. Right, is that Penn State have a secret pocket pick of Split. And they're willing to take people there, and they don't care if they give the defense side over first thing to the enemy team. But this is collegiate. Anything can happen. This can be a situation where Penn State may be feeling a little bit too bold. We're going to head into the agent select here, and this is where it all starts for both these teams.
You know what? I'm really happy. I mean, before we lock in, I'm really happy to see that we're already seeing people hover over Breach. So that's a good thing for me. Yes. We haven't seen enough Breach play, and I know people are. We talked about it before we started the broadcast. People are still trying to adjust to this patch, and they haven't quite realized how good Breach is yet. But Breach got massive buffs. I think he's a must. I don't know that there's a single map or a single matchup where he's not a must-have, because he's so powerful with his flash. He is the guy that they need on their team. Rain is probably something we're going to see, but it's going to be important for these players to pick the right people right now.
And I do see that Raze being hovered. I believe we saw one being hovered by Limestone as well. I believe there's a bit of a observer glitch going on, folks. You know, at this point, if you've been watching Valorant, you should be well accustomed to observer glitches when the new patch hits. So Jet locked in, Raze locked in. That's all we can say for certain. All right, there we go. We'll back on out. Both breaches, both Razes on for both these teams. I think I saw a Killjoy there.
Yeah, I think I saw a Killjoy.
I like the Killjoy. I think she's gotten a very decent set of buffs, considering that, yeah, you know, 40-meter radius on her abilities now. Honestly, whatever. 40 meters is huge.
40 meters is absolutely massive. I think where Killjoy really shines is in a map like Bind, or maybe even a little bit Ascent. In a little bit. I don't know if I love it here for Split, but we'll see how it works out for them. I mean, it's still a good pick. Killjoy is not necessarily one that I'd say is a must-have, but is definitely a plus for any team picking her. And if she's in the right hands with these buffs, then she could be really dangerous moving forward.
And I do have to correct myself. It was Limestone picking up the Killjoy, so much more standard look here for Penn State. They're going to roll out with that Cypher. First things first. Pretty standard setup of utility and a default across the map, it seems, for both these teams. Interesting that you see the Jet up in Heaven on A, and more lean towards A. Nobody really covering that mid-site, and a lot of mid area, I should say. A lot of area being gained pretty much for free by Penn State right now.
Your fault.
Oh,
nice.
Great shot there by Danny Steele. I think sometimes that ramp can be a bit of a farce for the attackers. I think it's people want to go there a lot, but I love trying to fake at the ramp and then see where your team can go. But looks like there's going to be a lot of action in mid. What a great shot by Titan.
Flash out.
And that's why Penn State have just been pretty patient, waiting for Limestone to push into them, interestingly enough, as the sides pseudo-flip there. Oh, Wall is on such a powerful lurk right now. As long as Penn State can play this slow over on this post plant, Walla can get so much done from here. Danny Steele winning that in mid too is going to be able to move over to Heaven confidently and not have to really worry about someone coming up from behind him. Now it's all just down to the breach. The knife out. Okay, good. Not going to start the game off with that at the very least. But Limestone struggle to make anything happen in their first defense.
Hey, well, that's one of the benefits of that split push on B right there. If you can go mid like that and control mid, I think a lot of people try to play too passively there and throw some smoke and kind of hover around. But if you can really stay aggressive in mid and just have somebody lurk around like that long B side and then have the rest of your team go mid through to the B site, that's the most efficient way to push B. Honestly, it's the most efficient push and it's the most efficient setup in the game.
And you can see already the adjustment coming out from Limestone. They're going to pivot so much more towards the middle of the map. They're sending 3 players there with the Jet. Blake moving over into vents, is immediately smoked off. Pushing this would be ambitious. Does have 2 players ready to aid. That fault line not going to quite catch Titan either. Worst case scenario here, and Titan reloading, dodges all of those right clicks from Blake. This is going so well for Penn State thus far. Now they just have to worry about the full line over on the A site. Does get that one tap onto Walla, but with the armor, more than able to survive it. Penn State starting this off strong.
Titan moving in there the way he did. I mean, we saw the smoke off there at mid, doing exactly what he needed to do to push that in that moment. I mean, the way they're setting up on B side to attack it is absolutely perfect. It's the textbook attack setup for that B site, and Titan being able to get that early pick and then take out those 3 kills early on is just absolutely huge for Penn State, putting Limestone on their heels early. Let's see if they can do that again.
More switch-ups from Limestone. The Killjoy and the Omen stay put, but the middle of the map switches up yet again. Not the 3rd round full buy you would necessarily expect, it seems, as Blake sitting on only the Sheriff, I believe. Oh, and one is going to be spotted out here already up in Heaven. That flash is going to keep PSU at bay and allow Blake to push out. Can't quite hit the shots, though, necessary to take out Titan. A little bit too fast on the trigger between those shots, and it decreased the accuracy there.
I do love...
Still hanging around here, but Titan is going to grab him, and now the middle of the map is free game for PSU.
I do love seeing Limestone doing a little bit better of a job of holding those spots right there and forcing Penn State to be a little bit more passive and not be quite as aggressive. But let's see if they can make this move on A right here.
Good crossfire here. What's my boy coming around, covering 4-way abstract. to get that two-piece. And now PSU, although they've rotated over to A, they're in a struggling position. A nice shot there from Boulder. Can't quite make the two-piece happen twice for his team, but still a player lead. And Penn State, they seem locked out of this site right now. They're going to need to try and push into heaven to gain control here.
30 seconds
it starts
left.
off well as they're able to take down what's up, my boy.
That's a huge kill by Danny Steele right there. They were in a really bad spot on ramp. They needed to be able to rotate out, and the only way they were going to do that is by killing him in heaven right there. Danny Steele getting that huge kill. Oh.
Ooh. Sig the man a little bit too anxious to push out onto ramp and gain control. Now it's all down to Way. Abstract alone looks away at just the wrong time from heaven, and Razik will shut it down. 3-0 to start us off for Penn State.
Limestone did a much better job on their setup that time on defense, but Penn State, you know, one of the big things is if your setup doesn't work and your attack doesn't work, can you rotate and can you change on the fly? They did a great job of changing on the fly and adjusting to Limestone. This is all about adjustments, figuring out what are they doing, where are they setting up, are they going mid more, are they going to push hard one way, but they saw the push, and Penn State did a great job of rotating over and going against Limestone's defense.
And a broken buy now for Limestone as they're going to have to look to make a light buy happen here. Blake once again playing up in vents, but a little bit more passive this time around. Just wants to see if someone will push him since he has that close range weapon of the Stinger. Nice paint shell there, forcing Titan all the way back. All that mid control completely given away, but nobody's here to actually hold this from Limestone. And I mean, even if they were, you can see Boulder trying to dice out there a little bit, but he's up against some real weapons in those Vandals, ready on that cross and a flash. Ready to come out from Titan 2 as he pushes into heaven on B. Paranoia does hit Titan. Titan, he's just getting out of dodge yet again. Penn State, they can't decide whether or not they want to actually push up mid.
Yeah, see, and then this is where you get in trouble on split. When you start to pull back a little bit more and you start playing a little bit too passive, you set yourself. What a great kill right there by Rezik. When you start to play a little bit too passive in there, all you're doing is giving the defense a chance to set up in different spots and move around and get where they need to be. And so it caused the attackers to panic a little bit more as Sig the Man spreads, fire a little bit, trying to scare anybody in the area. But I think Limestone doing a much better job of scaring Penn State here.
That's a big
30 seconds left.
Razik back there. That'll grant a gun over to Limestone. And with Sig the Man actually taking the spike carrier out there on site, this suddenly gets very dicey for Penn State. Oh boy, gotta be careful, pushing right in, but will get that frag. Does have to be careful, all alone in a 1v2, only 20 health. This has been a pretty good round, all things considered, for Limestone, but a clutch is more so out of the realm of possibility, especially as What's Up My Boy gets flashed.
There's Titan. That might be my favorite name of the night right now is What's Up My Boy, because every time I think you're telling me What's Up My Boy, but I know who you're talking about. But it doesn't matter right there because a Titan gets the flash right there. That's why Breach is so important, especially in those late round situations. If it's a 1v2 or a 2v2, those flashes can come in clutch right there, as shown by Titan getting the flash and getting the kill right there at the end of the round.
Titanos has honestly just been having a baller game. He's creating so much space for his team in these mid pushes and staying alive to do it, right? That's something that a lot of players that create space struggle with here.
Off your feet!
Danny Steele ulting right here. Let's see if we can get some
going
picks
out.
with it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a little dicey. If that
was.
Rolling Thunder hadn't been up to cover Danny, he would not be alive to tell the tale. The turret making it a little bit difficult for him to run onto Sig the Man here. Oh, only had one knife, but Classic will get the job done all the same. Doesn't have a weapon for the rest of this round, but Penn State's still feeling pretty good. They'll get that spike down, and they've still got the player advantage.
Yeah, pushing them off of the B site right there. I mean, worst case scenario, even if he misses that last knife and he gets killed right there and loses everything, at least he made enough space on B site for his team to move in and plant the spike. And right now, they're ahead by so much. Even just getting the spike planted right there, if you lose the round, they're in a really good spot.
Limestone not quite done with this round yet, though. They need to swing this one back if they want to retake control of this game. Gonna tap the spike, doesn't clear back Sight, though, and now it's all down to Blake. He can't possibly contend with the crossfire from PSU. Dicey for the Nittany Lions, but they'll still get it done and maintain their flawless split thus far.
As much as Titanus has done, Rezik has come in late in these rounds and been able to get the right picks at the right time. As you're seeing that Penn State now all going Vandals right here. I'm kind of interested to see what Wonder does here. Is he going to go for the op right now? No, he goes full. It's going to be full Vandal. So we have a full gun round for them. It looks like like a half buy for Limestone. Limestone's economy is not doing too great right now, and Penn State really, I mean, being up 5 rounds to 0, they can really do whatever they want.
And even if Limestone pull a thrifty out of their hat right here, Penn State are going to be feeling just fine. 5 ults available for Limestone. Make it 4 as the Raze does hit the floor there. And they keep changing up where they hold their defenders. I do like this, but it doesn't seem like they actually have confident strategies for any of these. The A site goes over for 3 here, and I mean, it's just murder across the map right now.
Yeah, I'm glad.
One lone player, way abstract, all alone on the A site. This is pretty entertaining, but ultimately, Danny Steele gonna hit that right click to shut it down.
I'm glad you brought up that the way they're setting up their defense, because I mean, yes, you want to mix up your defense and you want to change it up based off of what the attackers are doing, right? And when they're on offense, you want to rotate and change what you're doing to stop them. But this doesn't look like that. This looks more like panic switching. This looks more like panic defense, where they don't know where Penn State's coming from, and so they're just setting up randomly on the fly in different spots. And I don't feel like it's working out for them right now. They need to have more people in mid to be ready to watch mid, and it doesn't look like they're moving too many people over into mid, not enough people over into B. So it doesn't look like they have a coordinated effort on defense right now.
And yet again, that operator gets sent into vent and immediately is just smoked out, forcing a rotation from Limestone, right? They're not able to use that to gain control of the middle of the map, and PSU just walk up towards vents pretty much for free. This is going to be a pretty dicey contest. Blake. Oh, they just barely spot each other there. Oh, the right click. Spraying the dream there, and the spray through the smoke doesn't quite hit the mark. Still pretty good for PSU, but they don't expect the flank from Walla. And now with the neural theft, Penn State can open up this map. They see that the rotates are heading over toward A, and they're just going to take the spike onto B.
I mean, what this comes down to with Limestone is they're just not getting enough information. And I think with some of the picks that they had, there's just no way for them to get information. You know, having the Cypher on Penn State is a huge deal, because he can just sit there. Well, maybe not a huge deal right there, as he gets opt in the face at close range, but them just being able to have that kind of information with Omen and with Cypher, they need to be able to see what they're doing. And Limestone on defense right now is Rezik. Oh my god, Rezik just going off with the Vandal. My goodness.
That was kind of filthy there, but I mean, ultimately Rezik is enabled there by the Cypher, like you were saying, right? Waller got so much information for the team, even though it was really just the 1 kill, and that's what I like to see from Penn State right now, right? They spot that 1 jet in vent, and they recognize, hey, that's probably the Heaven player. Hey, that's somebody we can pinch onto. So Walla goes up. Even if Blake hadn't retreated, he would either have to win the 1v1 against Walla or the 1v1 against Danny Steele, and then presumably get picked up. So it's a low-risk, high-reward play there, and it works out so well for Penn State.
I feel like it's those big brain moves, right? Like sometimes, you know, Walla right there going down. He goes down, that's bad, but he got enough information for his team that you can have that 1v3 twist like that. So it's all about.
What is happening in this round?
Oh wow, Limestone.
The Omen has just crept into sewer. Now Danny Steele is all alone on A. I mean, whoa! Doesn't quite hit that.
Oh, no.
He knows where the breach is. He's gonna get flashed though.
Yeah.
This is suddenly dicey, Danny. Not quite gonna be able to make it happen. I feel like Penn State have got caught off by how absurd the strategy was from Limestone in this round. Yeah, they're gonna get the spike down, but it's a 2v4 in favor of Limestone right now. They should know where a couple of these players are coming from, but no. Oh, nice paranoia actually. Well timed there by Wonder and everything. He's gonna get 2 before the Rolling Thunder hits him, but couldn't possibly get the next 2. A 4K, just too much to ask for Wonder. And Limestone finally gonna get off the board, or on the board.
You know, the difficulty with something like that is, you know, whenever you're playing a game yourself, you think to yourself, that would never happen a million times out of a million. And so Limestone did catch Penn State off guard right there, but that's not really a strategy that you can have you can have consistently moving forward. And so Limestone's going to have to figure out, maybe they could try it again, but they're going to have to figure out some way to find some consistency in this game right now.
Well, at the very least, if you're Penn State, right, you think twice about mid next time.
That's
with how
absolutely
aggressively
true.
Limestone pushed it, right? Because it's been free game pretty much this whole map thus far for PSU, and now look at them. They're playing so much further back in that market area instead of just free walking up and scaling so far into mid. Now, I mean, Wonder's going to get pretty aggressive here, so he does have the spike, actually. If he hadn't hit that shot, that could have gotten dicey. Is he just going to take it over to A? No, instead he goes deep onto B because the Raze has already crept in here, and now Sigma Man is actually stuck in this situation. A paranoia. He's going to hide from it for a second. They should know vaguely where he is, and although he's able to hit this first shot, okay, I was going to say this might get dicey, but suddenly this is very winnable. Way Abstract is here to support, and Limestone have easily reclaimed this site. There's nothing Walla could do at all.
I don't love that play by Walla. Walla should have backed off and tried to save a little bit there. I mean, it was a 4v1. There's nothing he's going to be able to do in that situation. And save for your team, move on to the next round. You're up by 5 rounds at this point. I don't love that play by him, but great job by Limestone being able to turn that around. I mean, it looked like Wonder was making big plays there and moved forward, but Limestone came back and made him pay for it.
And now Limestone's economy has recovered enough to the point where they can more or less comfortably buy up for the rest of this half, right? So Limestone, even if they lose this round, the next one, whatever, they're going to have guns to work with. They can look to make a 7-0 into a 7-5 happen. Still a long way to go. But Penn State definitely feeling more of the pressure now. Danny, he's thinking about pushing up through this smoke dry. Is going to go for it as the fault line would have caught him, but Boulder ready to punish. PSU losing a member early, and Wall is just going to give this control? No, he actually stays here to see if anyone from Limestone gets antsy.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Penn State to be in right now. I feel like we should go back and play a little bit more passive as Walla goes down right there to Boulder. I mean, that's a tough spot for him to be in. He had no support over there. I feel like he just needed to back off and regroup.
And that's the second frag in a row over towards A, where it was the breach's position was compromised. Somebody pushed out, and Boulder Stoney just locked it down. 2v4, not looking great for Penn State, as they did lose one in market earlier as well.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna go A, I feel like the better strategy would have been they keep peeking A, and it's dangerous to peek ramp. I feel like it's better to smoke off ramp, smoke heaven, and then just go straight down main and see what you can do. Move as a team, move together. Don't get tempted by going anywhere near the ramp, and that's where Penn State's running into some trouble. It's getting close now here though.
Yeah, Titan able to catch Way Abstract in the back of the site. Perfect timing on that flash. You have no information as to really where Limestone is coming from, though. So this is a very split position here from Penn State right now. You have to expect that once the breach's position is known, they're going to try and collapse onto him, and Razik will be able to punish from heaven. But that fault line going out so early, this suddenly gets very dicey. Titan is able to wrap around here, though. Nobody checking main site, and suddenly they have no idea where he's coming from.
Great play by Titan.
Still got flashes to work with, too. Blake is able to get inside of one, but Titan will still shut it down. 4 in the round, and what a turnaround for the Nittany Lions.
I was afraid there for a second that Rezik was going to be too late on the rotation, and we were just going to see Titanos just go down. And Rezik wouldn't be able to really do a whole lot, not be in position in time to punish them, like you said, from heaven. But Titanos there with a great move to wrap around them and flank behind. I can't believe at least one of them wasn't watching their backs just in case, just to be safe.
Limestone, this is their defense on Split too, right, Josh? I mean, you hope to walk away with more than 2 rounds, especially in close rounds like that. What's up, my boy? He has pushed past the typical smoke. Won't quite hit that shot, though, and sitting on Raze instead of Jet. You're not able to get out of dodge nearly as easily. Mid control goes over to Penn State yet again. Still some utility up in heaven, making it difficult for Penn State, but with Razik on the perfect angle, he'll shut that down and the site. Easy take on a B for Penn State.
Planted.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just nothing Limestone can do about this right here. I feel like maybe play passive, play back a little bit. Oh.
Bro, both those players feeling some pain in their toes. They're going to be working with one less big toe. Even fault line Boulder is going to shut down one, but he's going to get hunted right now. And it would have taken a miracle for him to keep his gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you're in that situation. You get into a 5-on-1 like that. You're going to get hunted at that point because they're not going to let you save, especially at this level. So Penn State going up 9-2 with Limestone on defense. I mean, that's not ideal. At the very least, you'd love to split defense when you're on there, but being down 7 rounds like this,
defense,
split defense, yeah. But you know, this isn't an ideal spot for Limestone. You know, going on the attack, I feel like Penn State has a major advantage in this game.
Limestone, it's last round, and they don't have a full buy. They are going to get a little bit dicey with it. You can see players stacked over by A ramp. Players stacked up in mid, ready to push. There goes what's up, my boy, flying on in and landing on their heads. Nobody wants to get landed on by a Limestone like that. And what's up, my boy is able to make it happen. There is one roam that just actually completely went past what's up, my boy. So it seems like Danny Steele in a pretty strong spot back towards the defender's spawn. It is a 2v3, and ultimate's available for Limestone. Sigma man, I mean, there's no possible way he thinks Danny Steele is there, though. And once he's down, you can come onto the B site.
That was a great flank by Danny Steele.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, wow.
Spike planted.
Blake just standing still right there.
I don't know how. I mean, you can't get caught standing still in mid like that. You have to make a decision. You have to go one way or another. But if you just stand there, you're almost always going to get picked off. I mean, Limestone came out with a "hey, we've got nothing to lose" type of mentality, and it paid off for them in the beginning. But then they did a little bit too passive. What a great shot by what's up, my boy, right there on Danny Steele. So now we got a 1v1 with a spike down.
Paranoia actually isn't something that you can take advantage of. It'll give away your position, and what's up, my boy? What's up in this round? Ends up getting that 3K and the last round for Limestone. Still a pretty heavy deficit for Limestone, especially considering it was their split defense. But
Switching sides.
clutches like that bring back the morale.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a tough spot to be in if you're a Limestone. You know, we're going now into 2 as they're the attackers. That, like we talked about earlier, split is such a defender favored map, and it's so easy to hold down A. It's a little bit more difficult to hold down B, but if Penn State puts defenders in the right spots and holds down mid the right way, and doesn't let Limestone overload them, if Limestone even tries to go through mid like that. And it doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're going to make a hard push on A right here. All of Limestone waiting to go. Like I said, you know what I want to see is I'd like to see a smoke on ramp, and I'd like to see a smoke on heaven, and them just go straight down main and push it as hard as they can while there's only 2 defenders there.
Shadows traveling.
Limestone, it seems like they're going to go for that A push. No smoke on ramp, though. No availability to hide from Wonder. He'll trade at least 1 for 1. Danny Steele, seems like he took a nasty end of a trade, though, and is going to have to get out of dodge immediately. Paint Shell is going to go right where the spike is being planted. Gets the kill onto Abstract. Nice work there from Razik on the prediction on that. So Penn State, they're going to come into this with a player advantage, and although Boulder's able to get the first, his position is given away. And once he's gone, the post plant becomes very dicey here. Sig is going to get spotted. Waller with the prediction. And a good first round here on the defense from Penn State.
I mean, if you're going to take a silver lining out of that in any way, the silver lining is at least they got the spike down, so they get a little bit more. It saves their economy a little bit more than it would have, but it's still going to be tough. I mean, you're down 10-3, and you're the attackers now. You can't even win the gun round like that, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the Limestone strategy moving forward, to see how they try to come back from this.
Limestone, they'd need a pretty baller attack right now to swing split back in their favor, and you can really see why Penn State were willing to give up split as that first map. We're willing to give up the defense coming into this because, I mean, their attack was so strong and their defense already starting off well.
I thought it might
pretty heavy.
It looked like they were going to lurk on B, long B right there, but they decided to go everybody down mid. But you know what? Penn State doesn't have enough people defending mid right now. And they're going towards A site. I thought they'd go to B site. They're going towards A site through mid. Not something that I see a whole often. Now you see the rotation as Penn State hears them. That's a really tough strategy to try to deal with. Trying to go A site from mid.
Boulder Stoney there with the spike actually gets killed in heaven. I mean, this round is basically over. Last player in A heaven, never gonna go well. And Limestone, I like that rotation, but Gosh, I just feel like it was so loud and they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they started stomping around, it's like me whenever I try to play, start stomping around, and the defenders can hear that. It's so easy to make that rotation. It's a short rotation over to A, the way Penn State had it set up, and honestly, the way they were set up, they didn't have as much defense on mid as I would have liked to see. If they had a B lurker on long B, the way they should set up, and have the rest of the team go mid and take that, I think it would have put Penn State a little bit more on their heels, trying to figure out where the attack was coming from. But then they decided to go from mid to the A site, and I don't think there was a definitive plan by Limestone there.
Right now, it seems like they're just playing a little bit of a slow default. One lurking breach over toward A. Interesting assignments here for Limestone, as breach is normally more of that supportive flash. And Limestone are going to lose way abstract pretty early. They're not going to have those, and they're not going to check their corner as the other breach having much more luck, flashing out. Even spots two play.
Oh, bad day. Oh, Titanos trying to go in there.
Whiffs a bit there. The nerves getting the better end of Titan as he spotted more than a few players, but ultimately not bad from him. I mean, ultimately it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Penn State.
Yeah, it's a great move by him. It was, I mean, you pointed out, it was really odd to see Limestone's breach off there lurking by himself. You know, if you're going to have that, most of the team push mid, you want to have those flashes going in there. You've already got everything smoked off. As you go farther into B site, you want to have those flashes ready to go so you can try to deal with any defenders that are there. So it was really odd to have him lurking by himself over there.
Now, I mean, it just seems like it's going to be a save from the
left.
last member of Limestone. Sig, I believe, was able to hear the one player who was lurking around. Yeah, you can hear the Omen footsteps as they're considering where Sig might be hiding. Should be prepared. I think a little bit high on that crosshair placement, though, and when Wonder comes around the corner, he's able to shut Sig down.
What is the number one thing when we play games like this, Paul? It's hold your angles. Hold your angles. That's always the rule. And if you're not holding your angles in the right spot, you're going to get caught in that. I mean, he had the jump on him right there, and you know, you need to be able to sit there, hold your angle, and save in that spot for your team. Limestone in a really, really tough spot right here. Penn State they came out strong. They've come out aggressive from the very beginning. I mean, we saw just when it came down to map pick and letting Limestone take defense, we saw the aggression in Penn State because they knew what they were doing, and it's worked out in their favor very, very well so far.
That's what I love to see from a team that not only leaves split open, but picks it first map, right? You're not picking it just to throw them off. You're picking it because you are confident that despite giving the defense over to Limestone on split, you can make it happen. Now they just need one more round to take away the first map in this best of 3 and start this must-win series off right. Boombot there is going to cover Razik, so even though he gets flashed, he's able to get away while on a close angle here. Does spot one. Will he expect the second? Cyber Cage should give him enough cover so that that swing from Sig actually can't really make anything happen over on that B site. And meanwhile, 3 players are locking down B Heaven. Limestone just have to reconsider where they want to actually push.
I like this push by Limestone this time. The split push was definitely more well executed. Getting breach in the mid right there as Boulder Stoney goes down, but getting breach in the mid right there, trying to flash. Razik got very, very lucky that they threw Boombot out as they got flashed, but now showing that breach over there on the right side. Let's see if this works out for them.
One player remaining.
Oof.
30 seconds left.
Yep.
Nope.
Jump shot down. Frenzy to close it out.
Win.
Annie steal. Sends us out of split. What a dominant map there from Penn State. You absolutely love to see the Nittany Lions come out and roar so confidently.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the aggression pays off in this game, especially when you're the attacker. And we haven't seen that a lot so far in this tournament. We've seen a lot of passive offense, and Penn State from the very beginning, they were aggressive in their pushes, split pushing, you know, predominantly going towards B site, making sure that they were split pushing with 1 or 2 going long B, and then having the rest of them go mid and then push towards Heaven right there. They were coordinating really well. They were using their flashes at the right time. They were smoking off the right spots. And so whenever you have those coordinated attacks like that in the right areas, and then you have a team like Limestone that didn't really seem like they knew what they wanted to do on defense, it's almost always going to go in your favor. So if you can get the defense on their heels, you get them to start switching up when they don't necessarily want to switch up, you have all of it's all the cards are in your favor, right? And so Penn State from the very beginning, picking split, letting Limestone take defense, being aggressive from the very beginning. Limestone just couldn't recover there. So it's going to take a lot. You know, a map like that does a lot for a team's confidence. Being able to win so solidly in a map like that does a lot for a team's confidence. But let's see if Limestone can make some adjustments, get into a map that they feel more confident in, that they feel better in, and see if they can come back in game 2.
Yeah, we are going to be heading on to their map pick of Ascent after a quick break, folks. Don't go anywhere. There's still plenty more Valorant to be played.
I don't wanna see you but you fall apart. Even though you told me to get back your heart, I still spin inside your orbit. Yeah. You say that I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Yeah, I'm stuck in your space. It's my luck. Put me on where you understand. There's nothing left to say. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away, 'cause I don't wanna walk away, 'cause I don't wanna walk away, yeah, I'm stuck in your space, it's my luck, put me on where you understand, there's nothing left to say, pull me back, take my hand, come on, please, you understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna see you but you fall apart, even though you told me to get back your heart, still spinning inside your orbit. I should probably start to walk away. I'm hoping that you stop and make me have to stay, 'cause I'm floating in your orbit. Pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away, yeah, I'm stuck in your space, it's my luck, put me on where you understand, there's nothing left to say, pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away, pull me back, take my hand, come on, name, you understand, I wanna stay, 'cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away. Cause I don't wanna walk away.
Real love, now I see you. Yeah, you know I do, to make it through the times we had. I see it now, I see it now. Real I'll break through to show to you that I'm more good than I am bad. I'll work it out, I'll work it out. And I'll be somewhere that you need me. And I'll be holding my breath, waiting for you to show.
Welcome back, everybody, to Conference 1 Valorant. Good start for Penn State University and Limestone. They're going to have to find their footing as we head over to their map pick of Ascent. Once again, it's myself, Pulsable, joined alongside Josh.
Yeah, I'm excited about this Ascent pick. I'm interested to see how both of these teams attack it. Defense is pretty straightforward. I mean, you have two on B, you put one in mid, you have one that kind of roams around, and then you have one on A. That's the defense that you have. If you have any other defense other than that, not gonna lie, not to be rude, you're doing it wrong. So that's the defense that you need to have on Ascent. But there are so many different ways that you can attack Ascent. And one of my favorite styles of attack and one of my favorite ways to push is the 1-3-1. So you have one over on B site, one over on A site, and 3 that go mid. You have specifically one that starts closer over on B. You have 2 on catwalk, smoke that mid right there so that one player can't see you. And then you can decide what you want to do. You can either go towards A site and push from the tree room there, or you can go towards B site and go long B that way, or you can try to push through mid at some point if those 3 players want to push through mid. So I love that style of attack. It's going to be interesting to see what Limestone does here. This seems like more of a map that Limestone has been successful on before, but Penn State's been successful on it before too. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams go against each other. You know, it's Penn State last map, they got Limestone on their heels early by being aggressive, by pushing hard, by making the right plays, and Limestone didn't know how to react. So now it's Limestone's to do this, a chance to do the same thing. If they play passively in the beginning, I'm a little bit worried that they don't get the advantage that they need to rolling in the beginning of this map. But if they can roll on Penn State, then maybe they can make this a match and get Penn State on their heels, and Penn State has to make adjustments. Maybe they make the wrong adjustments. And the 1-3-1 attacking style just lets you kind of do whatever you want. It lets you be aggressive, lets you play passively, and lets you adjust where you need to.
Well, and even if you don't go for the 1-3-1 style if you're Limestone, you opt more toward the 5-person stacks that we saw them do on their brief attack on Split. I think this is a map that favors that a lot more, right? It's not nearly as difficult to go for those 5-person pushes towards sites, right? Especially, you know, over toward A, you can get 3 in catwalk, 2 in catwalk, 3 out main, or even just full send it through A main if you really want to, and it's a much more viable strategy. It seems like that's how they're going to be starting off, not the 1-3-1 you were hoping for there.
I want to see it. But I don't mind the split push here on B site. I think this is a good shot too. You know, there's a bunch of different types of split pushes that you can go with. And you can go mid like they're going right here, or you can all go long A and split into there, but instead of focusing so much on the boathouse, you can all wrap around as long as you check your angles. But it looks like they're going to go mid right here and try to take this from the beginning, but Limestone coming out very, very strong in this gun round.
This is a very decisive push from them. You can tell that they knew exactly where they wanted to go. They weren't necessarily prepared for Rezic to get those kind of kills, and now Titanos, he is here. Only 4 health. If you sneeze on this man, he will be dying. Does have an idea that somebody is coming from main. First one's found. Just needs a headshot onto the jet to clutch this round. That drop is going to give away his position. Going to go for the half stick on the bomb before peeling off of it, but just a little bit too late. Blake will come in, 3 in the round, to claim the pistol for Limestone.
I get going for the half stick right there. I feel like it was still so early after the spike drop that he had enough time to maybe bait the defuse right there and back off a little bit without reaching the full half stick. But it just with only 4 health, he put himself in a really bad spot to react way too late. And that's a hard play to make. That's a hard flick to make. He was already in a tough spot being in a 1v2 in the first place. So I would have gone a little bit more the route of bait that, get the kill, then see if you can get the spike.
Limestone gonna be walking toward that A site now, switching it up. Nice Sneaky little camera hidden by the vines there from Walla on PSU. And a Marshall ready. Oh, if that smoke goes down, things could get dicey. It's a very awkward smoke there. It did just cover the head, barely, of that breach.
I love seeing the flank by this Sova now. I'd like to see him move a little bit quicker. I know he's trying to be careful so they don't hear him, but if he can flank the right way and they can hold down, he can do some damage here.
Oh, he needs to actually be able to
Rezik,
take out What's Up My
no.
Boy, though, and switching over to the Classic, even though the Marshall missed, it didn't quite happen there. Nice, decisive push from Limestone. That's what you like to see from them. They're off to a strong start after a rough first map.
I mean, this is exactly what we said we wanted to see from them. Move it, go into Ascent, be aggressive early on, get Penn State on their heels, and get up big the way Penn State got up big on you and split and force that third map. Right now, they're on their road to doing that. Those are two great pushes right there. They're working very well together. They seem way more comfortable on Ascent in attacking than they did on Split, but they were also the confidence was shot in Split after they had so much difficulty attacking defending in the beginning in the first place.
Now they get to bonus round this out, just try and damage the economy of Penn State. Very aggressive lurk up here, I should say. And way abstract, exploding onto Danny Steele, stealing the Phantom away and everything. Penn State, it's their gun round. They need to be taking this one if they want to stabilize on Ascent here. But it's not off to a good start. One is going to get caught there. Way abstract going across, and Wonder ready on the list. Rezik 2, this B-site take has not been what Limestone were hoping for after a strong push up mid. Now it's all down to Sigma Man to see how much damage they can do to the economy of Penn State.
Some great adjustments by Penn State in this round 3 during the gun round. It really seems like they caught on to what Limestone was trying to do by pushing mid, pushing long B over there. And so that was a good adjustment by them. It really came down to Wonder getting some really great shots. There was that mid play right there by Limestone in the beginning was really aggressive. It seemed to pay off for them at first in the beginning, but I think they gave away too much by getting that early kill, and that's what gave away the position in the mid and allowed Penn State to kind of adjust and rotate the way they needed to.
And now Limestone, they're going to go to a gun round themselves, but ooh, buying up the op, putting it on What's Up My Boy immediately. I was about to say there's a decent amount of money left for Limestone if they lost this, but nope, they are spending it all, investing heavily into this round here, Josh.
This is one of the, like, when you're talking to people who are playing for the first time, when they say, should I do a full buy right now? This is when you usually say, no, don't do that. Maybe do a half buy since not everybody had enough money, but if it works out, if it pays off for them, it's a highly aggressive play. But man, if you lose that op here, their economy is shot for Limestone.
Already a rough start for Limestone too, as they will lose to Danny Steele, who pushed into B main. Danny Steele retreating to mid. I love this jump peek off the fountain here. Just looking to see if anybody is coming. Will get spotted there by What's Up My Boy, so if you go for that one again, you're going to get an operator to the dome more likely. Danny still thinks better of it, just retreats and expects now that Limestone are probably pushing up mid. Pretty heavy stack towards that middle of the map, towards that B site, but instead it's into Catwalk. Good work from Titanon. He only sees one though and isn't quite ready for Boulder to swing onto him. Now with Way Abstract still here and the camera going down, you have to imagine Limestone are going to be able to plant. Wow, this is so aggressive though.
Wow,
Whoa.
great.
He just jumps onto the site. Use the Cypher cage perfectly, and nobody actually went out onto the site to take control of Heaven. Now they're closed off. The door shuts off Sig the Man and the Spike.
30 seconds left.
You're in a position you can't possibly get to.
That's why having a Cypher is so important. Not only does he can give you all the intel in the world as Walla goes down, and so Cypher is no longer on the board, but having a Cypher on your team and being able to not just be able to get the information that you need, but also being able to just distract the other team with the utility that he has, right? And being able to sit there and throw that on top of it, get on the spot, get the kill, and stop that from being planted. But this is a great round by Penn State. If they can Limestone gets to keep the op, defenders win. So it's not a full loss for Limestone, but it's still rough having 3 of your guys go down on a full buy like that.
Especially considering the new economy changes, right? So because the spike was not planted, the 2 attacking members who survived only get, I believe it's 1,000 credits or 1,100, one of those 2, in their pockets. So it's difficult. They're not able to just, you know, get the full 1,900, be able to, or actually it'd be 2,400 because of the round loss bonus. Their economy is so much more shot. They are going to be able to still buy into this round. Bladestorm ready on Blake, so still technically a full buy for Limestone, but now their economy is even more tenuous than it was before.
I mean, if you look at what's up, my boy, he didn't lose the op in the last round, but he's got 700 right now. So if he loses the op here, he's still not going to be able to do much in that round. That's why it's so difficult buying that op this early right now and going full buy the way they did. But it didn't necessarily go poorly for them, but it didn't necessarily pay off for them either. So it's going to be interesting to see what Penn State does here. It looks like the push is a little split.
Lockdown does go into B main. You can counter this with the Hunter's Fury, and that's exactly what Rezik is going to do. Knows exactly where that lockdown is and easily destroys it. Limestone's plans snuffed out before they can make anything really happen out of B main, and it's just getting worse and worse for them.
Boulder Stoney going down there right there to Titanos. I mean, this is a tough. You've got Wallace sitting right here. He's got a great angle. I wish he would peek a little bit more and or hold the angle instead of doing both at the same time. I don't know if he wants to jiggle peek or if he wants to just go ahead and hold the angle. He needs to do one or the other. But they're in a great spot with their defense right now as Way Abstract moves in.
Haven't cleared the back site yet. Wonder's still in a pretty strong position. A solo push coming in from Sig, and he's easily spotted. Way Abstract not there, and that's the spike on the floor. Wonder just has to play for time right here. Still has plenty of teammates, still has plenty of time to play with too, and doesn't even get hit by his teammates. Rolling Thunder easily shuts down Way Abstract in a full wipe for Limestone. They're not able to save anything in this round.
And now they're in the spot that we talked about. Now they're in a really difficult spot. They just gave that op to Penn State. So that's the difficulty with doing a full buy and then losing it right there. Now Penn State's got great economy except for Rezik. Rezik's in a little bit of a tough spot. But now Danny Steele has the op with 5,200, and Limestone's in a really bad spot. They're going to have to go half buy right here or light buy right here and do a little bit more of an economy round. And the great thing is that the Penn State gets a full gun round, and they don't even have to spend any money to do an eco counter or anything like that. They just get to have the guns they have. They just have to play it smart right here.
And Limestone, even if they got some damage onto the economy of Penn State, it wouldn't be enough. They really need to pull off this win. They're going to be investing the Rolling Thunder. This is ambitious, but at least catches one. Titan doesn't care, though. He's intrigued. He's destroying them. One more to get the ace. All he needs to do is find out where Boulder Stoney is. Rezik nearly giving him that too.
Gave away his position.
Come on, get the ace.
Oh,
he gets through the wall. Ace for Titan. It wasn't to a light buy, but still, excellent work from him.
Yeah, I mean, it was to a light buy, but that's what you have to do. You have to take advantage of those situations. When the team gives you an early Christmas present like an op and full guns, and you have all that money, you take advantage of those situations. And now we're going to have a full gun round between 2 of these teams. But look, I don't even know if I love What's Up Boy goes with the op again. If he loses this, they're going to be in a really bad spot. I don't necessarily love the full buy here by Limestone. I mean, I get it. They feel a little bit panicked, but they had control of this map early. They feel like they've lost control over the last few rounds. I understand that, but it's not time to panic and start going full buy. If they lose again here, then their economy is going to be tanked. This is going to be very, very hard and very difficult for them to come back from if they lose here.
And we're not seeing the same kind of decisive action from Limestone in these later rounds. The first 2, they exploded onto sites and they knew exactly where they wanted to hit. They have been trying to continue that, but the game plans have just been falling apart before they can get anywhere near control of the site.
I feel like that's
That's
been the story for Limestone the entire time, is not being able to decide on a definitive strategy. What is our strategy for defense? What is our strategy to attack? And they haven't really been able to decide on that. Oh, as Wonder gets 2 big kills there.
And you could see the adjustment from Limestone there too, right? They smoked out tree. They expected one in heaven. They expected one in tree. But Penn State, they're just one step ahead. They had Wonder in that additional corner, 3 stacked on that A site. And now what's up, boy? His position is revealed. He's going to get pinched here. The timing on this swing is going to be brutal too. They do have one player lurking. Oh,
I don't love that. I mean,
he
if
is
that's
counting his blessings there.
30 seconds
He's
left.
got the wind on those.
The fact that he's still alive is a miracle, but there we go. Danny Steele coming up behind, trading an op for an op, Rezik getting the other kill. I mean, this is going to be tough for Limestone to come back from this. The game's still very well in hand. They're not out of it yet, but this is going to be another eco round for them. It's going to be a very, very light buy. Boulder Stoney is the only one who has any kind of money, but right now he's just got the default. Like he's got the classic. Like there's not much that they can do here. It looks like they're going to go with another couple of Vandals. I mean, Limestone is going all in on these last few rounds, and I feel it feels very panicky to me when this isn't a moment to panic for them. Just be decisive, figure out what strategy you want to employ, and then go for that and just get the kills. At the end of the day, it's all about clicking heads.
There is a showstopper available for what's up, my boy, too. Not a good start as Blake will hit the floor. Was that through the smoke there?
I'm pretty sure it was through the smoke.
What good work, and already a rough start. What's up, my boy? Just getting the heck out of dodge. Wonder won't be able to push this as that turret will keep him away. But he's going to go for the fake teleport and just hold aggressive here inside garage. I believe that paint shell does tag him up quite nasty, so we'll have to use the second shrouded step to get the heck out of dodge. But still B main, very much contested. Not much space gained from Limestone right now. Oh, Danny. Oh, Danny boy. Oh, the pipes are singing in his favor right now. Doesn't quite expect another, but
oh my
Way
goodness.
Abstract has no idea where he is.
I mean, that's just
And now it's just 2 stuck in B main.
That's such a smart play by Danny Steele right there to just use that smoke to his advantage. It doesn't matter if he's a little bit close as Wonder goes down to what's up, my boy, but using that smoke to your advantage, get up close, confuse them. You know, they know you have the op. They're thinking that you're going to hold a little bit longer of an angle. You decide to stay up close as Danny Steele gets another kill right there, and Tightnose finishes them off. But great plays right there by Penn State. Penn State just rolling right now.
And I gotta say, I'm a little confused that Limestone aren't trying to use the tools in their bank. I mean, maybe they were just going for a light buy. They're saving up for this round, but even this round, they're really not getting a full economy. And when you keep getting these broken buys, I'd like to see Limestone just say, you know, to hell with it, right? We're going to pull out the Showstopper and the From the Shadows. We'll get information backside. Showstopper will create space that we need for our team to push on in, but they're just playing a little bit slow. And oh no. Oh no, this is...
it comes down
just
to being...
34 gets spotted! Oh, it's actually a good push from Way Abstract, and the lockdown this time isn't going to get counteracted by a Hunter's Fury. That's the kind of aggression I was waiting to see from Limestone.
I mean, that's the kind of aggression that we saw from them early on in this map and early on in this round as Walla gets the kill on Boulder Stoney right there. But we saw that aggression from them early. Those quick movements, that quick aggression on the attack, that's been working for them every single time. When they sit back in their passive, it's not quite working for them. As Sig the Man takes down Danny Steele.
Walla all alone knows where the last one is, though. Easily able to get that done. Limestone, they had a good push, but the post-plant position's not quite there as the push-in was expensive for them. Titan, you don't gotta do that, man. The Killjoy's dead. And Anostorm ain't gonna do anything to you. Gotta save the Odin and everything, too. Things going so well for PSU.
Everything's working out in PSU's favor. I mean, what it comes down to is they haven't been forced to really buy a whole lot. They've been able to buy their utility. Their economy looks great. If you look at Danny Steele right now, he's got the op in 9,000. Rezik right now with 8,000, he still hasn't bought yet, but he's going to buy right here. Their economy looks incredible. Limestone still not quite getting the guns, the utility that they need, so it's going to make these push. I mean, here's the thing with attacking. you have to have utility. Having utility, getting information, being able to block stuff off, that's so crucial to having a fully like a great push on attack. And if you don't have that utility, you don't have that full buy, you don't have everything you need, then you're going to be at a disadvantage when they're already at a disadvantage. And so I think at some point they do need to either need to go all in, or they need to just hold back for a round or two and try to regroup, because even at 7-2, it's still not out of hand for Limestone. They can still come back from this very easily.
They found my why.
Good ball line, too. They need to push in onto that, and they will. Boulder Stoney finding that one from Tree. Great position. This is the kind of post-plant position we've needed to see from Limestone. They have actual, stable control. What's up, my boy? Don't get too dicey here. We'll be able to find the one through the smoke as the spray gives away Wonder's position. Reopening the door. Interesting there.
I love that.
There are two here in Tree, and Cinder will at least be able to punish Titnos. Only two available, a Bladestorm and an Operator. Not the ideal retaking scenario, but the spike is just now getting planted. There's plenty of time to set this up.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, man.
Just barely. Bladestorm in a dream now for Danny Steele.
Oh.
Just barely off the mark on that headshot. Limestone with a third on the board. Stabilizing a little bit, but a long way to go before they feel comfortable.
I mean, that was much better. That was a much better round by them. Just like you said, those post setups that they had, being able to make sure they take heaven, get one underneath, plant, shut the door. I don't know why they reopened the door. That was a little terrifying. Honestly, that's another one of those plays where I don't know that Penn State knew what to do with that, because they would just assume that the door was going to stay closed. But that was a great push by Limestone. They just need to do that again. They need to be aggressive. They need to be decisive and move in quickly. Don't give Penn State a chance to adjust. Don't give them a chance to rotate. Get in there, but Danny Steele getting the kill on What's Up, My Boy off the bat. That's a rough start for Limestone in this round.
And I like how Danny Steele is vacillating between mid and B main to just keep Limestone on their toes right now. So they're not always confident that Danny Steele is going to be here, and he's not pushing his luck right now. He actually lets Titanos push out onto Catwalk, and look how much map control Penn State have right now. They own everything except A lobby and A main. This Rolling Thunder is going to go on the wrong side of the site to actually catch Walla, and he's going to be able to hide himself inside the smoke in Hell too. So he is perfectly safe while he waits for his team to come in for this setup. Danny Steele finding one onto the site. It's already going so well, and Walla is here. The spike can't even get planted from Limestone. Boulder Stoney all alone now will be able to shut down Walla, but anything other than that was going to be very difficult for him to grab.
That all came down to the information that Walla got for his team right there. Yeah. That's why having a Cypher, especially in situations like this where a map like Ascent is so versatile, the attackers can come at you from a multitude of different positions. It's so incredibly important to understand where the attackers are on the map. And Walla knew right where they were, and he got to stay right there in the smoke, stay safe. He knew where they were positioned, and then once his team got out there, he gets to come up and get those 2 picks. That is huge for Walla, and very, very big for Penn State after a big Limestone push around before.
Out of my way.
Why are they doing it to him? They got 3 Odins on the board for the last round and a half.
No.
I hope y'all are ready for the big burr. Oh boy. All right. Push up mid here. This can get pretty dangerous. The turret at least lets him know that Danny Steele is pushed out here, but doesn't stop What's Up, My Boy from going down.
Danny Steele, I mean, that's what we talked about. Big shot by Wonder right there as Blake takes him down after the kill on Way Abstract. But the big, Danny, wow. My goodness.
Danny's just been nasty with this op, man. It is disgusting. Even able to catch Boulder there. All right, that should have been Boulder's to win. But no dice, Danny.
Switching sides.
Gets the advantage, and yet another 9-3 start for Penn State.
I mean, what Danny's doing, like you brought up earlier, where he's keeping them on their toes. That's the kind of defense that we talked about, where that's a decision. That's not reactionary. That's Danny going, I'm going to force them to continue to adjust based off of what I'm doing. Those are the kind of defensive adjustments that we want to see from these teams, that we wanted to see from Limestone earlier. And moving forward on defense, those are the kind of adjustments that we need to see from them. If What's Up, My Boy is going to go out and buy those ops as early as he does, he needs to do kind of the same thing that Danny Steele was doing, where he moves back and forth, keep them on their toes, keep Penn State guessing where he's going to be with that op. But what it comes down to is you you got to make those shots. You got to get those hits. You got to get the kills. And that's what Danny Steele was doing. Not just getting the good positioning, he was getting the kills with the op.
Cover going out.
Outside swap. Not going to be having an op for at least a while, Danny, but can still make things happen on this jet. Pretty passive default across the map here from PSU.
I don't know if Danny not having the op is more sad for him or more sad for us, but it's definitely not sad for Limestone.
Well, yeah, I think he's doing fine.
Doesn't
you know
matter.
What? I think Danny's feeling fine with the ghost in his hand on this pistol round. I don't think he's too disappointed by that one. Is going to get shut down there. Right click, very balanced on the classic as always. But so much control here for Titanos up mid, right? So even though Way Abstract is sitting around, 5 health, getting pinched from several angles, you can't imagine this guy lives very long on that A site. Wallace still keeping one defender over at B too, so Way Abstract was all alone, and I mean, Sig is stuck on the complete opposite side of the map. He has so much to go through if he even wants to consider getting this done, and can't even make it past the first hurdle with Walla.
And Walla's just sitting there waiting. We're just sitting there waiting for him, just trying to flank, take anybody that was going to try to move over to A. It was a smart play by him. I mean, it's tough to lurk like that. Whenever your team's going over to one place like that, I feel like, especially when you're down like this, you don't have the luxury of having a lurker that's that far away. You kind of all need to stay a little bit closer together and go for it, like you brought up going into this map, a little bit more of the split push, right? And just everybody focus on one side. Focus on A side, focus on B side. It doesn't matter which one, but everybody focus there. I don't think there's any need for Limestone to have those lurkers on defense anymore.
Well, Limestone, they're not going to bother lurking on defense this time. They forced by this round, and they are rushing on out already. It's a massacre for them.
Wow.
That was not what they were hoping for whatsoever. And Way Abstract heading for the hills. Is going to be able to pick up 2 and put the spike on the floor. A round potentially winnable. He does have a gun in his hand, but not able to make that gun connect any bullets onto the enemy. And that is yet another round for PSU. They are inching closer to a dominant win in this series.
And see, that's what's so tough with playing an aggressive defense like that. We've seen that all throughout the play the last few days, the last couple of weeks, really. We've seen very aggressive defense, and defense is where you have all the power. You're the one that has to force them to make the decision. And when you're aggressive like that, you lose that power, and you give it more over to them, where you have to become more reactionary instead of setting up in your own spot. So I don't love an aggressive defensive play like that, because it just puts you in a tough spot. It's too much of a gamble when you're down. If you're ahead, maybe you can be a little bit more aggressive and force them. If you know you're hitting the shots, that's good. But in a position that Limestone's in, I don't love the aggressive defense by them.
Well, and once again, they've gone for a force buy at the very least. This time it starts off a bit better, as they now have that 4 versus 3 player advantage. Not going to last them very long here. Walla using the cyber cage to get away from that engagement. Now can creep back towards the site. But it's just Rezik, who has the spike in hand, just chilling over toward that B site. Is going to be heard, actually, by What's Up My Boy over in B main. Throwing the recon dart into defender spawn. I think that actually went long, though. I think that, yeah, that went off the map.
That went way long.
So 0 information gained for Rezik there.
That
He's
looked
just
like
going to charge onto the B site. There is one player kind of close, but you have to expect Limestone are going to go for the full 3v1. Oh, but Rezik is caught on the rotation. Didn't expect one to have pushed out B main. Loses Vandal, loses life, and lose the round. PSU still in a pretty confident lead, though.
Yeah, shooting that arrow off the map, it's like whenever I try to throw the football with my son. He needs to be a little... keep him on his toes. Needs to make sure that he knows dad's arm isn't what it used to be. But, I mean, that's still a great play by him right there. That's still... I mean, he was the only one left on there. It was a hope and a prayer at all, like, anyway, in that. And so if he gets the plant for his team, which is huge. So they get the plant there so they can keep their economy going a little bit as they look to go into a buy. It looks like they're doing a little bit, not quite a full buy, but kind of a broken buy. Rezik goes with the Vandal and half shields. I'd like to see him economy a little bit more right here, but it looks like Limestone doing a much better job with their economy in this second half than they were in the first half of the map.
Still a very long way to go for Limestone, though, before they catch up. And every gun they lose, every bit of utility that goes to waste will be more money that they can't afford to lose. I mean, a lot of Killjoy utility invested here in mid to keep control of that.
Penn State's essentially playing with house money right now, which gives them a major advantage in this, as Danny gets a huge kill on Boulder Sony right there.
Does have to dance around here. Blake, ooh, that's not the dash he was hoping for. Can't quite get the shot there, and once the reload comes through, Danny can easily jump up and take out the opposing jet. Not great timing there either for What's Up My Boy. Things starting to fall apart here for Limestone in this pivotal gun round. Sig still in market. I believe his position is known though. The turret is going to once again cover him for that nano swarm. Door shuts him off, so he's able to just go for more isolated fights, but not isolated enough. The Cypher does get spotted here, and nobody actually cleared away Abstract.
Oh, wow.
But Wonder and Walla pushing together, get the crossfire going. Penn State now sitting on map point. Match point.
I mean, that was a lot of Killjoy utility for no payoff on that. It's kind of tough. I mean, you want to try to put yourself in the best position. You want to hold them off. You want to try to control those zones and control the map. But that's tough to give up that much utility and not have any actual payoff from that. And then to still have the attackers win the round. Tightnose and Danny Seal, I mean, they have just been amazing in this map for Penn State. They have been great for the Lions.
Get out of my way.
One more round for those Nittany Lions. Oh, and it's not off to a great start. Blake double dipping. Exactly. At least he'll trade 1 for 1 on that second. So 2 for 1 overall. That's not too bad for him. Does give the neural theft over to Penn State though. So even though they're at a player disadvantage, they have the information benefit. They know that Sigma Man is chilling in the back of site. 1 for 1 trade though. Penn State, they need to get more value out of these, especially with the position right now. What's Up My Boy is able to get that one, and the spike being carried by Wonder right now. He's able to ult over to B, but this is very risky for him. But they don't attack. They don't go at the same time. Wonder almost able to get it done, but once again, when Limestone need him, What's Up My Boy with the clutch.
What's Up My Boy with the clutch right there? He didn't even need the op. Why do you keep buying it, man? You don't need it. Clutching it without it. That was a great play by them. I mean, great rotation. That was a very, very good play by Omen there to go ahead and teleport over, plant the spike, get the money for his team, and then but great rotation to move in. It was a 2-on-1. That was an easy mode for Limestone to get that to get that round right there. And What's Up My Boy getting the clutch kill at the end. I was worried for him. I didn't think he was going to pull it out, but he did.
Still a very tall mountain to climb for Limestone here.
Tall is an understatement.
Blake, this is going to be very aggressive. He's going to dash forward the second he thinks that anybody's here. He is going to be hurt. Just stomped his way up. A flash supports him, but not enough to where he can actually get that kill.
Oh,
Limestone, they are playing for such a gamble in A main right now. And once those two are gone, it's an easy ult, easy push onto the site for PSU. That paranoia is not going to hit much of anything. It gives Boulder Sony's position away. What's Up My Boys? Has some nasty clutches already. 1 per map, but this will be insanity. Oh, and the jumping right click. Walla.
Wow.
Ending it in such an anticlimactic fashion. Great map, great series from Penn State, though, as they get that much-needed win and keep their hopes alive to move out of the groups and into knockout.
Yeah, Penn State, I mean, they were aggressive from the very beginning. We saw them in map 1 on split. They stayed aggressive on attack. They got Limestone off their game plan. It looked like Limestone was trying to adjust their game plan on the fly, but then we get into map 2 with Ascent, and it looked like Limestone tried to do the same thing that Penn State did with them. It looked like they were being hyper aggressive. It was working out in their favor. They were being very decisive. They were all moving together, working as a team, and then it just kind of started to fall apart as soon as Penn State won that first round, and their game plan kind of went out the window, and you just saw them get a little bit flustered. Each one of them got a little bit flustered, so they were just out of position here and out of position there, not holding their angle there, and that's what it ended up being for Limestone. Is Penn State was very, very great in their execution on defense and on offense as the attackers and the defenders, but Limestone just had they had moments, they had players with moments, but they never really did it as a team, and when you don't do it as as a team. I mean, if this is a team game, this isn't any of the other FPS. You have to work together. You have to be set in the right spots, and you have to understand more than just I need the kill. It's what does this kill do for my team? What does this death do for my team? If I use this utility now, what does this do for my team? And it didn't really feel like Limestone was really had any synergy with any of that going on in the first half and really the second half of map 1, and then definitely in the end of the first half and all of the second half of map 2.
Yeah, I think you put it well. Moments of brilliance from Limestone that could be better extended from just a moment to more consistent play if they just, maybe do a little bit more homework, right? Come into some of these maps with prepared strategies, do some VOD review. I definitely think that Limestone can get there. Penn State, though, seems like they're already there, right? I mean, they came into both these maps, gave us the split gambit that I always love to see, came out confident with it, hit their stride, and never seemed to lose it on either of these maps.
Yeah, and you see the difference between these two teams. With Penn State, let's just look at the way they played defense. Both teams played defense on Ascent. Penn State, whenever they had to make a rotation, they were decisive. They made the rotation right then. They didn't hesitate. They went where they needed to go as soon as they knew where the attack was coming. Limestone, sometimes they would rotate in time, sometimes they wouldn't rotate in time. And then when they were the attackers, Limestone, they would move into a spot and they may or may not get in the right position and be where they set up where they need to be set up for the spike plant. And that it's those little things like that separate those teams. Those matches and those rounds could have gone so vastly different if Limestone, because they had a lot of great pushes, especially on Ascent, where if they just, we talked about this a couple of times, their post plant setups, if they would have been in the right spots, then they would have had a much better job keeping Penn State from trying to retake that. It would have been a lot more difficult for them to do it, and Limestone just didn't do it. And it's those little things like that. Those, the economy is such a huge deal in this game, and not managing your economy the right way, buying the op a little bit too early, having those broken buys that they had. It looked like 2 or 3 rounds in a row where they didn't really see, they wanted the guns, but they didn't get the utility, and they just didn't have a full arsenal, and they didn't allow themselves. It's those big brain moves. We're going to go for an economy round. They need to have one person calling that out. Let's go for an economy round, because then we're going to be in a much better position in the next round. Even if we lose this, that's fine. It's okay. We'll be in a good spot. Those are the types of decisions that have to be made, and it just didn't seem like anybody was making them.
Yeah, for sure. At the end of the day, it is Penn State taking it pretty comfortably. We're going to be back real quick, guys, with an interview of one of the winning Nittany Lions here. So make sure you don't go anywhere. See you in just a sec. Welcome back, everybody. The Penn State Nittany Lions took a pretty dominant win over Limestone University, and we are here with one of the victors, Danny Steele. How are you feeling after that solid win, man? Oh, can you hear me? Uh-oh, we might be having some technical difficulties.
I can try to do my impersonation of Danny, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
I don't have.
I can't hear them.
He cannot hear us. So, we can hear you. We can hear. Trying to. He can't hear us though. So it's all a lost cause. Eventually, hopefully, we're gonna get him in just a second here.
We could talk about the questions that you're going to ask him. What are the,
no, I do
what
not.
are the things you want to ask him? Well, it looks like we've got him in now, so he should be able to hear us in a minute.
Possibly. You good, Danny? You can hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Okay, perfect. There we go. We figured it out,
go.
guys. Well, my first question to you is just how are you feeling after that win, man?
Good. I think everyone played their role, which is what we always want to see. Titans flashes and stuns. I don't know if you guys saw a couple of times on Split specifically. Yeah, he would all be heaven for me, and then it's just the easiest thing for me. So, yeah, if everyone plays their role, thing goes well.
So I want to know behind the decision with picking Split for the first map. When y'all pick Split, like what did you guys talk about? What went behind that decision in picking that map?
So, I think our comp, like with a breach, jet, and raise, so that's like what everyone's like really comfortable on. So everyone's playing their main, like you saw us go to Ascent and Rez went on to like a Sova, right? So I think Split, everyone is just on their mains. So that's what we haven't dropped a Split in weeks in other leagues, anything. So we've played it like 10 times and we haven't lost it. So we actually first pick Split a lot.
Okay, well, you're giving us a peek behind the curtain there. Other teams are going to be tuning in, and next week you're not going to be able to play Split ever. It's going to get banned every single time.
Maybe so.
Yeah, okay. So I actually do want to pivot then onto your guys' prospects here in Conference 1, right? Because you did take that loss yesterday. It was a close one, but you did ultimately get defeated. Today you pick up the win. You're 1-1. Next week you go and you play against Zip Esports. Do you have any kind of insight into that match? Do you have any ideas about Zip or confidence going into that?
Yeah, we played them last week. I believe it was 2-1. We won that series. So going in, we're still confident. But we haven't been as consistent as I would like to see. So we need to work on our consistency. And if we're consistent, I don't see why we can't win it.
So in Ascent, they obviously went for an earlier op buy than what we said they would like to see. They dropped the op and you pick it up, and you just went absolutely crazy. Crazy with it? How big of a moment is it for you to see that op on the ground and then just feel really good about it in that moment?
Yeah, especially because we lost pistols, and a lot of that was me. I don't know if you guys watched. I started like 0-3, something like that. I was just playing a little bit too aggressive in the mid smokes, things like that. So when you lose pistol, getting the op on the first buy round is impossible. So seeing that, the first buy round from them, and I was able to pick it up, it's huge.
Yeah, we love to see that kind of stuff, and we love to see your guys' play. I think we're going to get out of here pretty quickly, but before we let you go, Danny, first off, thanks for joining us here, and congrats again on the win. But second, you have anybody you want to shout out from the team, or university, just in your life here on the stream?
Yeah, shout out my mom and dad. Much love. Shout out the team. Yeah, I think that's it.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Danny. A wholesome end. Love to see that. And Josh, I think we're going to get on out of here. Any last thoughts?
Well, I won't hold it against Danny for not giving me a shout out. I feel like I might have been one of his biggest fans tonight, but it's okay. I won't hold it against him. But no, I mean, it was a great job by you guys. Y'all stayed in control from the very beginning. You looked confident. You looked aggressive. So hopefully, that confidence holds as you move forward.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think we're going to get out of here then. Thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks again, Danny, for the interview as well. And we're going to be back with more action next week. We wrap up this group stage of this small groups tournament here. And there's going to be a lot of very spicy matches. That'll resume, I believe. Oh, I should